My name is Alhaji Yusuf. I'm an educator, that is an educationist. My father happens to be a banker. I want to do banking too, but teaching is the thing I do at my leisure. When I'm in school, I teach my colleagues whenever I'm less busy. So after my secondary school, looking for admission, I want to become a computer science. Unfortunately, JAMB does not favor me then. So later on, though I have my diploma in Unilag, but I now engage myself in teaching. So teaching is what I do to sustain myself then. I do home-to-home teaching, and some of my products, some are in United States of America, some are in London, some are working Access Bank, newscaster. So later, I still don't want to settle down for teaching. I still write JAMB. I aim to go for law again. Unfortunately, I don't have literature this time around. That was later when I like, okay, I've been doing teaching and I've been fetching me one or little things. Why don't I later settle? Fortunately then, I have a friend. He's the head of the district. He told me, why don't you focus more on your educational background? I said, sir, teacher doesn't get that respected, especially when it comes to income. So that was when the friend told me, the president of Nigeria then, His Excellency President Goodluck Jonathan, studied zoology, and now he has his doctorate. Why don't you focus more on this educational thing? That was when I now start giving it second thought. And later, I think and settle down to go and give more attention to it. Then I was teaching in a school formally before, and now think I want to have my own work. I want to have my own school. Then I read a particular motivational speaker, Zig Ziglar. There's one of the saying that says you don't have to be great to start. You have to start to be great. So that was what challenged me in the process. I was thinking, how can I do it? How can I go about it? The government is not ready to help me. How can I help myself? So I'm now like, okay, the journey of 1,000 miles starts with a step. I traveled to Cotonou. I stopped my traveling. I reduced my own coaching. Then, at the end of the third term, I told friends, families that I know I want to start summer coaching. Can you please come around and bring your children, and I'll give them nothing but the best, as God wants it. Where I aimed, I don't see people there. They all went for holiday in another area. Fortunately, a woman, she brought her 4 children, Igbo woman. She's like, Alhaji, I want you to help me handle these children. I started in my father's parlor, and I used his door as a board there. So the second day, another woman too came with her 4 children, make 8. Then I give it a thought. When I got home, I spoke to my wife. I said, I'm not going to go to Ghana this week. I will stay in the country, and I will utilize the money for my benches. So I try to go to the carpenter. I make a bench and a desk. I make a chair and a desk, a very standard one. Then I went to Ireland. I got a tapoli. I use it as a cover up, as a shade. I get a board. I got a marker. Then I sat myself down again. Are you ready for this? So I now think of the challenges whenever it's downpour. I'm using outside. People that are passing by may be looking at this is not the best place. But the words I've read before, Zig Ziglar, still trigger me. You don't have to be great to start. You have to start to be great. That was when I settled with 8 children. The 8 children, I give them nothing but the best. I teach them the best, the sound production, the normal things they are supposed to know. In a nutshell, I see 2, 3, 4 children coming from different places. Then after a month, school is about to resume. Then I now meet peoples. I use one-on-one adverts. Please help me to tell your friends I'm doing so things. If they believe in me, let them come. Meanwhile, I've taught in a school before, but it's another part of Orile, not this area. So if you give your child to that guy, it's going to help you drill him very well. So some of the children that are not able to go to school, they bring them to me. I don't mind the charges. I charge very, very low so they can afford it. So when they come, I give the children nothing but the best. So when the children got home, their parents was like, I never believe this is my child. I never believe my child can read. I never believe my child can sound this way. That is how I started. Then after the resumption, I make a uniform. I went to the bookshop. I'm a book person before. I went to the market. I bought the best books according to the curriculum of the state. Then after that, I try to give my best to the children. And to quite of an high, I have like 20 pupils. At least at the end of the day, I have 1 naira, 2 naira I can take back home. I'll discuss with my wife. I have nothing, but I'll make something. I keep giving myself that spirit, that belief that one day my school will be school, and that's the prayer I'm still on to. So after 2 years or 3 years, I have some little change. Then I thought of, I need a better space if I want to go further than this. I started looking for spaces. To get a space in this environment is not a joke. It costs money. Fortunately, one of my father like that stays in Canada called and he asked me, what am I doing? I told him I study English, political science at ACOID, Lagos State College of Education, apart from the diploma I have at Unilag. And he said, good, that shows in your English. What are you now doing now? I said, sir, I just need a space to start my own thing in a big way. I explained everything to him. Then he said, how much will it cost me? I told him 700,000. Because to get a space will be 300,000 per annum for 2 years, coupled with the agreement and the agent, whatever. The man said that's a quite big of money. Till date, I got no response from him. After that, I keep praying. I'm a prayer person. I pray, I keep telling God, God, if you are the one that opened way for Moses when he goes to the Red Sea, please open way for me. I keep praying. I keep praying. I keep praying. Then one day, a woman came to me. She came to me and told me, there's a space around a place at local there. That's where I want to take it then. Then he told me that, she told me rather, that the place, I know the way people look at that area. I have a thought about it. When I got home, I have a deep rethink. And I decided I will not let the area disturb me. I can transform the area to a better place. So the next day I went to meet the agent. I learned there is a space open here. He told me yes. And I told him how much? He told me 1.2 million. I said, whoa, that's a quite big of money. How can you help me? He said, you know what happened? You know the owner of the house. Can you just please go talk to her too yourself? I went to Alhaji. She happens to be the great-grandchildren of the first king in Lagos State, Akisemoyi. I explained myself to the woman. She told me her own complaint too. That his own daughter has a problem. They need money here and there. That if I can afford the money, but if I cannot afford the money, there is nothing she can do. But in order not to make me go with sadness, she told me there is one space at the back of that place. I should just go to be managing what I want to do. When I went to check there, there's nothing to write home about. So I now have a thought, okay, how can I raise this money? People have their problems, especially when it comes to financial problems. So in a nutshell, I sat down. I look at all the capital I have at hand. I spoke to my wife, what did you have? She gave me all she has too. Fortunately, One of the person I pray for, she had my conversation on phone, and she said, "Sir, it seems you are kind of in need of money." I said, "Somehow." Said, "If she's in position to help, can she help me?" I said, "Anybody can be a help to me this time around." Then I told her, "This is what I need." Fortunately, she told me she has some capital like that. She wants to reach the rent shop, but she's not ready to get the shop now. In a nutshell, she went home and bring her own ATM card for me to go withdraw the money. She believed in me. In a nutshell, I gathered all my money together and went to pay the landlord, remaining 100,000. Somebody that have paid 700, the one is still a change. So I appeal, accept 2 years from me. I cannot afford the 3 years. And for the agreement and commission, give me a space, I'll settle your money. And as God wants it, I paid the money. Then the 100,000, 120,000, I start looking for it. So all the children I have at the backyard where I started then at my father's, I took them all to that 3-bedroom flat. I settled for different classes because before I combine everybody, me personally, I know the classes. I know this is basic 1, I know this is basic 2, I know this is basic 3. But if you as a passerby or outsider is looking, you see them all together. So when I got there, I separate them, the KGs, the nurseries, and the primaries. Because they are not that much in numbers. I try to give my best to the pupils. I teach them more than what people in the environment think I can teach. So when they all get home, they are now bringing 1, 2, 3 people. Then, remember I told you, I've been in a school before, so I know 1 or 2 things about education. I've been in a school for 15 years. I've been doing home coaching for years, and I've been to different seminars, Macmillan, Lantern, and a lot of the publishers. They know me very well. So when I started that gave me an easy clue on how to go about it. So I know the best book. I know the basic things that children need. So, and that's what I try to sell. Then when I'm about to get teacher, I think I started alone because I have to pay the loan. The money I've went to borrow from one person or the other. So while I'm doing the teaching, I got just a teacher. Her name is Auntie Chiso. She joined me in the teaching. So when she teach, in the morning, I told her, you know what happened? This is one big family business. You are my sister from another mother. Don't see me as a boss. See me as a colleague. We have to build this place. Because my intention is I started locally with an international intention. And as God wanted, Chisom to give her best effort. She teach the children where I know she's weak. I support her. Then another teacher joined, make it 2 teachers. Together with me, make it 3. So that was how I started. Bit by bit by bit. Then, whenever I call for the parent meetings, I keep telling the parent, I appreciate your support because you believe in me. That's why you bring your children. Even right from when I'm at the backyard, nobody will want his or her child to be taught outside. So, for those parents that started with me, I give them a very low amount. And this parent is not all of them that is even financially buoyant. So I give them courage. I told them, your children can become something in future. Just like one of my students, what she said, I never knew she would be a nursing in America because she's doing a nursing course in America. And after a couple of months, she's going to be given a license. So that was what she told me then. Whenever she comes from uni like that, sir, I'm not finding it easy. It's not easy for me. I find it difficult to eat. After lecture, I hawk all the lecture rooms. Whenever she comes, I say, what did you see me, your uncle doing? Yeah, yo. I shout, I teach from morning to night. Keep doing it. Tough time never lasts. Tough people do. Rebel scholar. I'll tell her, go back. You overcome the challenges. Your best revenge is to be successful.